That was a really odd evening, but it was a monumental win for us. A very difficult place to come. I gather it's the first time we've ever won here in the regular season or in the MLS for that matter. And it feels like, yeah, we weren't in any way dominant in the game, and I'm sure they'll feel aggrieved for being on the end of a 2-0 scoreline. But we've been in that position plenty of times ourselves over the course of even in the last month or so, and certainly early on in the season. So I'm really satisfied with the fact that we really looked like a team that was desperate to win, and that's what we needed to do today. I think no matter how we ended up doing it, the 3 points on the board was the biggest thing, and we rode our luck a touch at times. But what you saw at the end was a group of players that are desperate to put the points on the board that is required to do what we want to do this year. And I think it's another big step forward, albeit in a different way to the way in which I would have liked it to be a step forward today, I suppose.
What did you have the team do at halftime to try to stay ready during that long break?
Yeah, it's really odd, and I've got to say, from a coaching perspective, it's tough as well because you almost have too much time to think about how the second half could pan out, and it's obviously you feel like you're starting the game fresh again. They make three changes, we make one. You're set on doing one thing after the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then you can't help but start watching the first half back, and then you feel like it might benefit you to do something slightly different. And I think in some senses that time to think as both a player and a coach is unhealthy, very abnormal. And I must say, I don't think we really got going after that break. I think we ended up finding ourselves defending very deep. We looked pretty lethargic. We weren't able to get good pressure on the ball, build pressure in the way that we wanted it to do so. And I think it ended up being that pretty uh, classic away performance where once you find yourself bedded in and defending your box, it's difficult no matter how much we try to change the level of energy, change the level of aggression with the number of subs that we made. We never really saw it, no matter how much we preached at half time that we wanted to have more control of the ball. We didn't want to turn it over quite as easily as we did in the first half. We wanted to build a touch more slowly in the middle third of the pitch. We still turned the ball over easily, and we did end up largely defending probably the first third of the pitch. But I think we restricted them with a lot of the ball to, not, I wouldn't say very little, but not a huge number of very clean cut chances, and that ended up, I suppose, being by design with the way in which the team took it upon themselves to defend deep and make sure there was no space in behind and be really aggressive on the top of the box. And yeah, I think in that sense, the will to win is what sticks out to me.
Do you have the team like run wind sprints in the hallway while they're trying to stay ready, or just wait for the second half warm up?
No, it's strange because you're waiting for the clock to get set at 30 minutes, and obviously that took a long while today. I think once we felt that there was a strong probability of that happening, it was a case of the players or redoing what they would do prior to the game. They spent some time in the dressing room, pre-activation, music on, tactical messages, conversations, final messages from the coach, and then they're out on the pitch and they're pretty much going through their pre-match warm up. So it very much feels like it's two different games. But I think when you add to that there's an incredible humidity in the air today. It's really difficult, I think, to produce a performance that is full of energy, full of aggression, and certainly that huge break contributed to that.
You had Jefferson Diaz playing on sort of the left side of central defense. What did you see from him tonight, and what's sort of the prognosis for after he came off injured there?
Well, I hope nothing significant because he's obviously made a decent mark since he's been here. We've had some issues in the back line, of course, and we wanted to try something different. Obviously, freshness and rotation comes into it as well with us having played so recently and having put in such a big effort midweek. And I think he did well. I think there's often points where it's a touch awkward for him, not being a left footer on that side, but he also found some moments where he was able to come back in on his right foot and find some passes in the middle. And obviously he did what he did against Snatty a couple of times from the left, which is really speed the game up for us when we can switch play quickly and he can join in. And he's obviously an attacking threat given his athleticism and his power and his ability to make the box. So I would say largely it was a decent night for him. And I feel for Mickey when he comes into the game because it's a really tough situation to go into. I mean, the other 10 players are really dialed into the difficulty of it. They're really in the game. You're coming in cold. You're coming into a situation which you're going to have to defend a lot. And obviously, he's found himself in hot water. So yeah, it's a tough night for him, but I'm sure he will bounce back. He's an experienced player and someone that no doubt we will rely on as the year goes on.
Time for one more.
Yeah, it feels kind of like Yeboah is having the sort of run that Oluwaseyi had at the start of the season, where it seems like everything he does turns to goal. What can you say about this run that he's on here?
Oh, well, he's first and foremost he's a good player, and it's not by chance. That's the reason that you bring in someone like him. That's I suppose the nature of the system in the MLS, the way that the rosters are put together, the squads are put together. There's always that designated player focal point, and if you bring in someone like Kelvin as a number 9, approaching his peak, as I've said on a number of occasions, someone who wants to come in and make a real mark, use this as a step, then that is what you expect from him. And what I would say is on top of what he contributed in front of goal, he defended really, really well. We made a big point prior to the game. We have made a big point over the course of our time so far about making sure that we really, as a team, it's a real from top to bottom effort to make sure that we restrict the opposition, and he is very much the start point of that. And even as the game goes on, you see he's got an absolute desire to close the game out. That he's a genuine focal point and number 9 that can work on both sides of the ball for sure.